What if I told you that Justin Timberlake almost traded his microphone for a lightsaber?
Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty questions.
Ask these guys.
True.
Sounds impossible, right? Well, you're partly right, but there's more to this wild story. Please stick around to the end of this video to find out what other pop star almost made it into the Star Wars universe. Members of the 90s boy band...
Hi, we're the Backstreet Boys, and we're here to celebrate the premiere of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
No, not that other 90s boy band, but these guys.
Hey, NSYNC here, and we're here in Orlando, Florida, and I can't believe it, MTV has given us a special private screening of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
NSYNC came super close to becoming Jedi Knights. They even filmed scenes for Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Let's dive into how those frosted tips nearly made it to a galaxy far, far away. Looking at these old videos, you can see the NSYNC guys were big fans of Star Wars.
So we're so excited, can't wait to see all the new characters, all the new creatures and everything. We're very excited.
Well, except for Justin Timberlake.
They ask you how you are, and you just have to say you're fine and you're not really fine and you can't get into it because they would never understand.
We get to see it for everybody else.
It's pretty obvious he doesn't know shit about Star Wars.
We were stormtroopers.
No, we're Jedi.
And let's be honest, with that ramen noodle hair, he looks more like he's ready for a cup of noodles commercial than a lightsaber duel.
Noodles so fly, you will be singing bye 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 to hunger.
Here's the big question everyone is asking. Just how close did NSYNC actually get to being in Star Wars? The answer? Really close. Joey Fatone, JC Chazet, and Chris Kirkpatrick all filmed their scenes.
Dumbest thing though is as we were doing this scenes, you're literally going boom, boom, like an idiot.
Justin Timberlake and Lance Bass couldn't make it to Skywalker Ranch because they were too tired from their tour.
Me and Lance were so butthurt.
Yeah,
So
but they got cut out anyway.
when you guys got cut out, we were like,
Talk about a missed opportunity. So how did this wild idea even start? Well, George Lucas's daughters were huge NSYNC fans in the 90s. I mean, who wasn't?
So George Lucas' daughter was a big fan, came to one of our shows.
You remember this now.
And we freaked out.
George took his daughter to an NSYNC concert and met the band backstage.
And we're all just around him going,
I would've freaked out
pushing his
too.
poor daughter probably out of the way just to be like, oh my God, George Lucas.
That's when members of the NSYNC band came up with the idea of a Star Wars cameo.
And then Joey, who has no couth or anything at all,
Joey?
we need to be in the next movie.
Of course he did.
And I'm like, Joey, shut up right now. We're just meeting George Lucas.
And George said yes. Can you imagine how excited they must have been?
That's terrible.
But when Star Wars fans heard NSYNC might be in their favorite movie series, they weren't happy at all. Some fans were so mad they said they'd boycott the movie.
We kind of hinted that you guys were kind of going to be in it. And the fans kind of lost their stuff and said, we will not go see this movie or whatever if we were in it. So
How surprising. Now, why didn't NSYNC end up in Star Wars after all? There are two stories about this. The first one goes like this. Lucasfilm didn't like the backlash from the fans when they heard the news of NSYNC appearing in Star Wars, so they decided to cut their appearance.
Don't wanna be a clone for you, just another trooper in your game for two. You may hate
They just seem kind of gay.
The second story, which is probably more likely, has to do with something called AFTRA, now known as SAG-AFTRA. AFTRA stands for the American Federation of Television and Radio Artists. They had a rule that said once you join, you can't work on non-union projects anymore.
There was a whole big rumor about NSYNC being in the Star Wars Attack of the Clones. Some of us actually were, but then they cut it out because we were SAG, and usually they got to pay the SAG rights to it. We only signed a confidentiality thing, which we didn't say anything, but they had to cut us out of it.
This rule, called the Global Rule 1, meant that NSYNC couldn't be in movies, TV shows, commercials, or even student films that weren't union made. George Lucas famously didn't like working with Hollywood because of some bad experiences he had when he was starting out.
I came up with American Graffiti, which I thought it was a real straightforward movie, and the industry, everybody I talked to said, no, this is weird like your first movie.
That's why he financed Star Wars all by himself, without any unions involved. George just wanted to be in charge of everything in his movies. Can you blame him?
Put a chicken in Major Gay!
So there you have it, folks. The story of Jedi. how NSYNC almost showed up in the big Geonosian battle in Attack of the Clones.
You know, rumors that the big fight scene in the arena that we're down there somewhere.
Ain't no lie, Jedi, bye, bye, bye.
It's a pretty wild what if in movie history. But wait, there's more. For those of you who've stuck around, here's another mind-blowing fact. Michael Jackson almost starred as Jar Jar Binks. Yes, you heard that right. George Lucas and the King of Pop actually talked about it. But in the end, Lucas chose Ahmed Best instead, worried that the Jackson's superstar status might overshadow the rest of the movie. Can you imagine how different Star Wars would have been with the Moonwalker as Jar Jar? Thanks for watching today's episode of The Holocron. If you enjoyed my content, learned something new, or got anything of value, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with us all.